third in the NFL in receiving yards. It's the Aviators and the Commanders, and it's all up next on EA Sports.
The final 2-week stretch of the 2023 regular season, and we are underway week 17 here on this New Year's Eve. And he'll get it up across the 20 to the 21-yard line. The Commanders set to go to work on offense, and they've handed the controls to this man in his second NFL season, former Tar Heel Sam Howell.
And there was a positive in last week's loss. No interceptions thrown by him. But he only threw one touchdown pass, and you know he wants that to improve. He might even consider that as part of the reason that they couldn't take the win last time out. I believe we'll see a more aggressive version of him this week whenever they're nearing the end zone.
He'll wind up getting a yard on the game's first play at second down.
I think the defense surprised him there with that blitz on first down, but give him credit. Stayed cool under pressure and still found a way through the extra rushers for positive yardage. Well done.
And the defense, they get to Howell. Will go down here. Myles Garrett. It'll go as a loss of about 8 as he gets in there to drop him.
You've called plenty of games in your career. Do you believe in momentum, my man?
I do, and I think we're seeing it right here.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. The run that he's been on. How about that? 3 sacks in a game a week ago, and another one right here.
Under pressure again, and down he goes again. Brought down by multiple defenders, and it's a loss of 12.
It always helps for a visiting team to come in and set the tone on defense. In fact, when we talked with them prior to the game, they said they wanted this home crowd to feel like they had to hide their valuables when they were in town.
Well, the home crowd quiet now early. See if their offense can take over and get some points on the board. And now the punter, Tress Way, as he sends this one away. And this returnable for Hill. Well, he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. And touchdown. He goes 67 yards on the punt return. And the Aviators will jump on top with the game's first score here this afternoon. Evan McPherson for the extra point. And it's good to make it 7-0. It's no secret. That's why they have him return punts. He has the capability to take them back, and he did so there. So after surrendering the punt return for a score, let's see what they can do in turn on this kickoff. And he had no room to run as he's tackled down inside the 20. Now Washington going to retake the field for drive number 2. As we grind toward the end of the season here, and they haven't had the season that they had hoped. So let me ask you to play GM. Where might they look to make some changes?
I think when you look into the upcoming draft, think hard about them drafting multiple offensive linemen. They've got to get stouter up front. And as a GM, it always tells me, Charles, this is a big boy league, and big people always end up winning games for you. Well, that was their 3rd sack of the ball game, 2nd in the league in sacks coming into this one. They're planning on making it a race to the top, aren't they?
Absolutely. They're looking up at that top spot, but they might be looking down at the 2nd spot pretty soon. Throwing on 2nd and long. Howell. And he's going to go down again. Chase Young in there to get him, and on the season now, that is 9 sacks for him.
And they're picking up right where they left off with the shutout that they pitched last week. A huge part of that, this pass rush. They know how to get after people.
Offensively, good luck finding some answers right now. First carry of the game for Brian Robinson. And he'll get this only up to about the 3-yard line. Just a 1-yard gain on the play, and that'll mean a call to the punt team as it's 4th down. Here's Tress Way now. Remember, his first attempt was returned for a touchdown. And he's able to get it out of there, and this is a pretty good kick. Watch out for Hill on the return. And he will score. It's a touchdown. He goes 67 yards on the punt return. And the Aviators are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Extra point by McPherson, up and good. And it's now 14-0. So his big play capability in full display there as he's able to return that punt for a touchdown. So after the punt return touchdown, let's see what their opponents can do with this kickoff. And his guys will get the football right at the 20-yard line. Now we get another look at Washington on offense. They've shown very little offensively to this point. Well, neither team has really. They come up here now, first down. And Howe will throw it. And he's going to be brought down here in the backfield. Milton Williams busting through to get him for a loss of 6. These sacks now, they're starting to pile up, Charles. And that front 7 defensively, they've had their way with this offensive line.
And I think at this stage, we have to start thinking about different play calls. We've got to start
under pressure, and they got to him again. They push him back 8 yards that time on second down.
So, Brandon, we've sat in with a lot of coaches, and when they talk about things they want to accomplish offensively, I'm not sure that sack and sack are on their play sheet.
And Thomas has it. Calling a gain of 3 on the play. And that's going to bring up a 4th down.
I think that call was made not so much to try and get the first down, although they would have taken it if they could have gotten it, but to give their punter a little bit of space and try and help out their defense.
Yeah, they got the safe completion on 3rd. The punt team on now is from their end zone. They get it away. Now Hill to return it. And he's loose again. And all the way in for the touchdown. That punt returns 66 yards, and it goes the distance. And the Aviators take a 3-touchdown lead. Extra point by McPherson, up and good. And that makes the score 21-0. So we know he has home run hitting ability in the punt return department, and he showcases it there all the way back for 6. So how about this for a start? 21-0 here in the first as they kick this one away. And he will make it to the 20-yard line and no further. So out comes Washington's offense to take over. They've shown precious little here offensively thus far as they try again with a first down now. They start on the ground with Robinson here. Fights forward for only about a yard up to the 21. The numbers in last week's ball game for Robinson. 15 carries, 72 yards.
And they've already clinched a playoff berth, so I'm eager to see how they approach this game because some teams' philosophy is to go ahead and get guys out. Other teams' philosophy, continue to do what you're doing best. I expect them to go ahead and use their top guys all the way through this one.
Now the pressure comes and he goes down. Just inside the 10, back at the 9. Multiple rushers break through to drop him for the 7th time this game. 21-0 our score after 1. Second quarter now from our nation's capital, and it's Washington in possession of the football as they've got it with a 3rd down and long coming up. Powell. Under pressure, they got him again. Myles Garrett drops him again for the 2nd straight play, and it brings up 4th down. Well, for last week's performance, which was so good, he was named NFC Defensive Player of the Week. He got a lot of praise, and understandably so, from national media. Looking pretty good on that play, too.
And I love what he told us this week before the game. He talked about how much time they spend working on pass rush moves, every position, because anyone could go after the quarterback in their defense.
And this results in 6. Touchdown. A 62-yard punt return. And the Aviators are able to add on to their first-half lead.
When you've got a guy that fast back there to receive punts, that's a nightmare for the guy game planning, the special teams coach, but it's also a nightmare for the punter. Sometimes they get so nervous that they mishit the ball and kick it right to him.
Extra point by McPherson, up and good. And the route is on here in this first half. So after surrendering the punt return for a score, let's see what they can do in turn on this kickoff. And able to get this across the 20, but not much further as he's dropped at the 23-yard line. Out comes the Washington offense as we get a look at the playoff race in the NFC. And with the final fortnight of games upon us, teams jockeying for position. Some of these games really starting to take enormous importance as they always do this time of year.
I like how you use fortnight.
Hey, you're impressed, aren't you?
I am impressed. That means 2 weeks if I'm not mistaken, correct?
That does.
But how about exactly what you're talking about? Going down the stretch, how much importance is placed on these games. Look, everyone talks about every game's important. When you get to this time of year, maybe that importance gets quadruple. And that's where we are right now to see who can make their last run, their last push to get into the playoffs.
Second down, Howell now. Pressure comes and down he goes. Chase Young. That is now 2 sacks for him here in this first half. He continues, Charles, to be under constant pressure, and these sacks, they're starting to pile up.
And if they want to have a realistic chance in this one, they've got to change their blocking assignments. They've got to do a better job to keep it.
And looking for McLaurin, but this is intercepted. Picked off by L'Jarius Sneed. And he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. I cannot imagine a more perfect half of football for one side, CD, and a more disastrous half of football for another side. But if you focus on the positive half, with this pick six, you look at where that lead is at, and to think that we are only in the second quarter. My goodness.
I love the expression, my goodness indeed. Pretty obvious. It's a free fall out there. Everybody gets a chance to make a play. And if you're on the field, you've got a great chance of being the next guy that your teammates are celebrating.
So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick six. And now the kick is away. And beyond the 20, but not by much. In fact, just a yard pass there to the 21. A look at Washington as they come onto the field. Not only are they in search of their first score, they're in search of their first down in this ball game as they come up 1st and 10. They begin the drive with Robinson, and he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Well, any lane that might have been open there was closed pretty quickly, and that was because the defensive front, they won that battle at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage. They used great leverage, held their spot, and stacked him up.
And he'll take it ahead to the 28-yard line.
When you find that kind of yardage, you couldn't be more confident as a ball carrier. And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, I'd like to keep carrying it, thank you.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Well, the defense, they get to Howell. He'll go down here. Trey Hendrickson gets in there to drop him for a loss of 13 yards, and it's also 4th down now. He was superb a week ago. 3 sacks in that affair. Now 1 here in the second quarter.
Well, how about our conversations this week? With him, it was pretty simple. He said, I've got a few combinations I can try it out they haven't seen yet. And on the flip side, they thought they had a plan to block him. Might need to come up with something else because he looks...
And there he goes again. Touchdown! 72 yards on the punt return. And the Aviators have taken a 6-touchdown lead.
Well, it certainly feels like that kind of game, doesn't it? No matter what they do, it's going to work. That might be the absolute crusher right there. A punt return for a touchdown.
Feels like there's been a lot of crushers in this game. This lead just gets bigger. Extra point by McPherson, up and good, and it is 42-0. Well, it's no secret. That's why they have him return punts. He has the capability to take them back, and he did so there. So after the punt return touchdown, let's see what their opponents can do with this kickoff. And he'll be brought down right on the chalk of the 20. And the Washington offense heading out. They're still in search of an initial first down as they come up here 1st and 10. Back to throw. Howell. And he's going to be brought down. Back at his own 6-yard line. Myles Garrett in there for the sack, and it's an important one from a personal standpoint, as that is sack number 100 in what has certainly been a terrific career to this point. And we've hit the 2-minute mark in this first half of action. And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. Sacks, a growing theme in this first half. This is 2nd and long. They run it for the first time with a backup Murray. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. They lose 2 on that last play, so things get even tougher. 3rd and long coming up.
Yes, indeed. That play there, that reminds me of some of the guys that I played with that have that suddenness, able to get into the backfield almost about the time the ball snapped and make a play. How about that tackle for a loss?
Absolutely. He did a lot of that last week when he was named the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. One of the guys on the team was saying, hey, yeah, we called him the disruptor, and that's carrying forward again. Makes sense, doesn't it? No gain on the play there. A nice job defensively. And it likely forces a punt situation on 4th. Here's Tressway now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. So a short drop, but he's able to get it out, and this is a good kick. Here's Hill on the return. 34 yards on the return. But for a moment, looked like he had a shot to go all the way. And this offense, they're going to have excellent field position. They take over with a 1st and 10 on the short side of the field. So now you've got their offense coming out for the first time with great initial field position. And they'll be led out by an exciting athlete. 4th overall pick of the draft out of Florida, Anthony Richardson.
Well, in prep for this one, it was fun talking with the defensive staff because they had to review last week's game tapes where he threw for over 400 yards. And they started ho-humming that performance. And finally, you said he threw for over 400. That's got to be significant. That's why he won the NFC Offensive Player of the Week.
They better be careful what they wish for, ho-humming. He might do it again here in this one. From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10. From the shotgun, Richardson. And it's caught. Touchdown. Tyreek Hill from 13 yards out. And the Aviators will extend their lead in the final minute of the half. I'll let you do the analysis, partner, but with every touchdown pass this young quarterback throws and with the success that his team has had, I just continue to be more and more impressed.
Let's both do the analysis. Impressed. Aren't we both?
Yeah.
I mean, and why shouldn't we be? We've seen him improve throughout the year. We've seen him settle in now, and you can see the confidence of the team has grown. His confidence has grown. I think that everyone around this guy feels good about what they've seen, and it's also safe for him when he's driving home to turn on Sports Talk Radio. He's okay.
And makes it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. Washington going to go on offense one last time in this first half. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
And he'll just push his way forward for a few as the clock will run. Myles Garrett, the all-pro defensive end, there on the stop. So we've reached halftime here on New Year's Eve. As we'll send you down the coast. All right, we'll bypass the halftime show in favor of returning to this late season game with the teams coming back from the locker rooms here a bit early. Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth, ready for quarter number 3. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. From the end zone, here comes Williams. And able to take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. Back onto the field comes this offense, ready for their second drive. On first down, Richardson. He's airing it out for Williams. And this will be caught at the 30. Touchdown! Jamison Williams, his 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Aviators are pouring it on. Extra point by McPherson, up and good. And the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter. After the touchdown, McPherson on to kick this one away. And no alley to be found. The coverage was solid, and he's dropped at the 18. First possession of the second half now for Washington.
Let's go.
First and 10 here for Hal and the Commanders at their own 18. They'll try and get the running game going here with Murray. And he goes nowhere. He'll lose yardage back at the 17. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
This defense is just flat getting after it. They have not given up much of anything in the run game. Case in point right there.
Second down and a run by Robinson. We're just looking at the scoreboard and where we're at in the third quarter. I don't know that it's going to matter much at this point, CD, but these small runs on the ground, they're not going to get it done.
No, they're not. And right now, the guys stopping the run have been superior in this ball game, giving them no openings, no seams.
Oh, Hal loses it. Oh, and one of the linemen on the other side has got it. Dangerous spot for them to cough it up. Lucky to have recovered, because had the defense gotten it, they were already within a shadow of the goalpost.
And then you're yelling at your own defense. Sudden change, sudden change. That's not what you want to hear on your sideline. That means you got to run out there and try and stop an offense who has the ball in a very advantageous position.
Here's Tressway now, standing about a yard deep in his own end zone. And he'll get this away into the icy winter air. Fielded at the 33. And he's loose again. And it's a touchdown. He goes 67 yards on the punt return. And the Aviators have got it on cruise control. A lot of times they want this guy just to try to flip field position. He flipped it all the way into the end zone.
Yeah, the rule of thumb is, can you pick up 10 yards? That's getting a first down. Instead, he takes it all the way and provides a big spark for his team.
Extra point by McPherson, up and good. And the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter. So after surrendering the punt return for a score, let's see what they can do in turn on this kickoff. And he will be brought down here inside the 20. Good coverage as he's dropped at the 17. Washington ready to try again on offense. Well, we're still in the third quarter, so there's some time to kind of clean this up and make it look more respectable. Now, a win, that's probably gone out the window, Charles, but I don't know. Do you look at this as a time to just improve and maybe start to look towards the future?
I think you have to find something to play for, something to grasp onto until the clock runs out. But, Brandon, we've been around this game a long time. This is an outlier. You don't get many blowouts like this no matter how the game looks on paper going in. This one has turned out to be everyone's worst nightmare realized.
And he'll be corralled right around the 34. that his first catch so far. They've held him under wraps, but he's got a first down there.
Or maybe this offense has learned something from watching their counterparts work. I'm wondering if their coaching staff said, let's do what they've been doing the entire game, because that's worked well. This offense, they have not looked particularly good all game long. But a nice throw there for a good gain and a first down.
2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
This defense just continues to bottle up that ground game. And look, I mean, the deficit right now for this offense is so big that it might not matter. But you're still in the third quarter. They're probably going to have to try things through the air, Charles.
I agree with you totally. That's what they'll have to do. They do need to run it occasionally to take a few hits off the quarterback, because right now, you just know those pass rushers are fired up to get after him. You've got to figure the further they fall behind, the more you think that they'll get away from the run. They're trying to stick with it, but the results, they just aren't there.
Well, the defense, they get to Howell. He'll go down here. Multiple defenders getting home there for a loss of 11.
It's been a tough one all game long for this offensive line. They're already down big, and now you know they're just going to come after the quarterback in a big way, don't you?
Yeah, they just can't get out of their own way right now. It's created an avalanche, and an avalanche is coming right on top of them. And on 4th down, on is the punt team, sending this one away. Taking it about the 16. And there he goes again. And put it on the board. It's 6, a touchdown. That'll go down as an 84-yard punt return.
And the Aviators get another third quarter touchdown to add on to that lead.
And we always talk about kick returns being so exciting on kickoffs. Punt return almost equally exciting.
And typically we talk about the kickoff return being the most exciting 10 seconds in football. Let's just cut it in half for a punt return and make it the most exciting 5 seconds in football. It's a great, glamorous, dashing play.
Extra point by McPherson, up and good.
And the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter. So after the punt return touchdown, let's see what their opponents can do with this kickoff.
And he'll get it up just past the 20 as his guys will go to work at the 21-yard line. Back onto the field now, the Commanders' offense. And really, Charles, not much of a surprise that they're losing. They just haven't been able to get much of anything going in the pass game. And as you well know, in today's NFL, if the passing game isn't working, usually not much else is working either.
You're exactly right about that, partner. And I know that right now the easy answer would be, hey, let's run the football. But that might not be everything you need. So despite the fact that they've struggled throwing it, they've got to find some type of a play, multiple plays, that puts the ball in the air and allows for them to have some success.
And he'll go down at the 26 following a gain of 6.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route and then breaks it off usually after about 3 to 4 steps and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and give the quarterback a really nice target.
Now a third down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete.
As defensive coordinators around the league tell me all the time, that throw is not for every quarterback because you've really got to drive the ball downfield. It's going to be a tight window for him to fit that one into. In this case, unsuccessfully.
And he couldn't get it to check up. That kicks all the way into the end zone for a touchback. The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive.
Well, partner, you know, coaches always say that every play is designed to score a touchdown. Sometimes that's not really true, but last drive, that was.
There he goes, left side.
He's on his way.
And he will take this one in for a touchdown.
Isaiah Pacheco, his 16th rushing touchdown on the year. And the Aviators are able to extend their lead in the final seconds of this third quarter.
One play, 80 yards. Pretty easy drive to recap.
It certainly is, but not so easy to execute. Starting on your own 20, you want something to kickstart your drive and get it off to a nice start. They went for the whole thing and got it. That's a great way to send a message to the opposing team.
Back now at FedEx Field, where the fourth quarter will begin with a kickoff following the score on the final play of the third quarter. Here's McPherson now to send it away. And his guys will get the football right at the 20-yard line. The Washington offense back out there. It's now appearing that this losing streak is going to continue. You know, the coaching staff was confident that this was going to be the game to stem the tide, but that just has not been the case. On first down, Howell. And he can't escape, and down he goes. Daniil Hunter able to get in there for his second sack of the afternoon.
Pardon my vocabulary isn't that great, but to me, there's only one word that fits this front seven today, and that's dominant. 4 and 5 sacks is already rare in one game. Getting to more than 6.
And the pressure gets to him again. Myles Garrett, my goodness, make that now 5 sacks for him in this ball game. Really, really turning in an incredible performance. This offense so far on third down, an almost unimaginable 0 for 10 thus far. This will be third and a mile. And they're going to sack him yet again. The pass rush has been relentless. This time it yields a safety. Things are just going from bad to worse now. It's a safety that does him in here, and that is one frustrated offensive unit.
They can't get out from under their own shadow right now. I mean, I know this is the NFL, but could you imagine a college crowd right now? Imagine what they'd be doing. They'd be chanting, "Start the bus," because they think this one is over.
The Tokyo offense heads back out there now. And, Charles, we are in the midst of a very one-sided affair. I think this is where you and I have to fill a little bit. You want to regale us with old stories of your childhood in New Paltz, New York?
I don't think anyone wants to hear that, but this is a perfect time for us to start listing MVP candidates, right? Best teams we've seen so far this year.
And now off to the races down the right side. Touchdown! Jamison Williams with his second TD of the game, his 6th on the year. And the Aviators extend this fourth quarter lead, and they are getting closer and closer to win number 11. He has really settled in throwing the football, and that touchdown here in the fourth quarter gives him a pretty comfortable cushion.
He may be a rookie, but he's playing like fourth quarter, and the QBing is easy. How about this guy? Youngster, not worried about anything, just cutting it loose and having fun.
McPherson set to kick off.
After the touchdown, McPherson on to kick this one away. And not much happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23. Out comes Washington's offense as they get set to take over here. Well, I think that the folks here had hoped that maybe this home atmosphere would carry their guys to a surprise victory, but it does not appear that that's going to be the case. There's too much to handle on the other side in this one. And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete. Was trying to find Jahan Dotson, and it's second down. Now Howell. Oh, you saw that one coming. It's intercepted. Thrown back across his body. Picked up by Jesse Bates. And his guys will take over at the 25-yard line. Well, this game was already decided, Charles, let's be honest. But now another feather in the cap of this defense as they pick him off for the second time.
You're right about that. Things have been going pretty well for them, to put it mildly. But they're still out there hunting for big plays and get another one right there.
On the move to his left. And he'll head out of bounds inside the 10. Mark it down at the 9. A nice job there on the escape and scramble. A first down, a 16-yard gain.
As we both know, there was a lot that went into why they made him their first-round pick this year. And part of it was what they saw in college, his playmaking ability when things break down. As soon as he saw he wasn't getting a lane to throw, he pivoted and found an alternate way to the marker.
89 yards rushing for him so far as his terrific continues here.
I know you're trying to wring every yard out of a run, but I think 9 yards there is ideal in this situation.
Yeah, now next couple plays, you only need 1 yard. Keep that clock rolling with a lead here in the fourth.
Yeah, what you're saying is maybe if it...
And he'll take it into the end zone for a touchdown.
Jahmyr Gibbs. A touchdown run there from a yard out. And the Aviators add another 6 points to what's going to be a blowout victory. Extra point by McPherson, up and good.
And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead.
After the touchdown, McPherson on to kick this one away. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. The Washington offense set to take over. Facing a big fourth quarter deficit here, things not looking good. You know, this offense, though, they've been in the top half of the NFL so far this season, but in this one, well, their defense has really struggled. Howell and the Commanders come up now 1st and 10.
At their own 22. Can't get away, and he's taken down.
Buried by multiple defenders on the drive's first play.
Talk about two sides of the ball at cross purposes, because mercifully this game's almost over for the offense, but the defense, they still want to get a few shots in. That front seven, they've loved this ball game. They've been able to pad their stats, and maybe some backups can get in and get a sack as well.
They try to throw on 2nd down, but this one is incomplete.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And that will be incomplete.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
Here's Tressway now. He's been one of their few bright spots so far. This is fielded at the 27. And he's loose again. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly.
Well, when coaches come into a game preaching total team effort, CD, I think this is the type of ball game that they're dreaming of. It was pretty apparent early on that they were clicking in all 3 phases. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, sometimes in the NFL you end up with matchups like we've been watching here. And when you go back through the early drives, you can just see that one squad was on a different level in this game. Safe to say, we have been disappointed in watching their execution throughout this contest.
Evan McPherson set to kick off.
So after surrendering the punt return for a score, let's see what they can do in turn on this kickoff.
And he won't get this to the 20-yard line as he's down at the 19. So out comes Washington's offense to take over. Well, it's been a struggle so far for this offense, Charles. It's not only that they haven't been able to put the points up, but really stringing yards together has been a real issue for them in this one.
I'm so glad you brought up the yardage, because I was thinking to myself, we've seen a lot of NFL games, and we've seen our share of lopsided contests, but in almost all of them, both offenses have put up at least 200 yards in a game, but not in this one. This has been a display of offense that, frankly, I think the two of us have watched from behind our hands, trying to spread our fingers wide enough to actually see the result.
Second catch for him today, and it'll wind up a 1st down. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair.
So it's Commanders football as we get back to it.
They've got a 1st and 10 as they search for a late score.
They'll throw on 1st down. Here's Howell.
Caught out left side by Robinson. And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36. Despite the completion, they're going to wind up losing 3 there. Second down.
Well, Brandon, we could see that play developing, and they were hoping that he was going to be able to put a move on the first guy and turn it into a big play. But no such luck. The speed on defense continues to get better and better in the NFL. Pretty nice example there of those guys being able to run from their assignments and finish off that play.
Throwing again on second down, but this time it's incomplete.
This has been a rough one, to put it mildly, for him. And after this one's done, you just feel like at the post-game press conference, this team's going to have a lot of questions and definitely not a lot of answers.
And the defense, they get to Howell. He'll go down here. Myles Garrett in there to get him again. That is sack number 6, one off the NFL record of 7.
Here's Tressway now. He's been terrific so far. That's taken on the 25. And there he goes again. And they are going to finish this one off strong. It's a return touchdown to add on to their lead in the final stages.
And McPherson on for the extra point.
Now this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. So his big play capability in full display there as he's able to return that punt for a touchdown. So after the punt return touchdown, let's see what their opponents can do with this kickoff.
And he returns this to the 22. And Washington going to come back out here to take over offensively.
And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is. You got to get points. And, okay, all right, I'm being facetious here. But you get points, you feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on to the next one.
Danielle Hunter getting him once again, his 3rd sack of the afternoon.
Now the defense going to use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. Got to imagine the pass rush will be equally intense here on second down following the sack. It's 2nd and 18. Throwing there, but this pass is going to wind up incomplete.
That incompletion is not a surprise with the way that this one has gone, and the frustration of body language is evident everywhere. This team, they've really been put through the ringer in this one.
3rd and long. Here's Howell. The throw right side here going to be incomplete.
A misconnection there. He's hit on just 50% of his passes thus far. That's not where you want to be.
Now you see the evolution of the game. You go back to the quarterbacks of old, 50% would be terrific because they threw the ball downfield almost every time they threw it. Now with the short passing game, you should be above 60% just to be in the average range.
A great return there, bobbing and weaving his way for 31 yards. And there'll be time for maybe one final play before we hit triple zeros. That one looks like he'll throw here. Got a man, it's caught inside the 10. And finally, down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7.
For the winning team here, Charles, that's about as big and clean of a win as you could hope for in the National Football League. No turnovers. Meanwhile, you forced turnovers. You didn't allow any points, and you put up a bunch of points. What an effort.
And, Brandon, I just have to ask you, that's all the stuff that we saw happen today. Those are statistics, numbers, the whole deal. But my question is, how does one team come ready to play and the other one, obviously, not ready at all?
Well, I mean, I obviously don't have an answer to that, but that was the story from the get-go. One side was awake and ready, and the other just seemed asleep. So for Tokyo, they get an important win here to move to 11-5 on the year.